Hello everybody, welcome to Dackman Productions and welcome to Conrail. So I got something pretty exciting today, as you probably already know from the title of this video. But I went ahead and pre-ordered the Conrail GP9 in blue and the GP9B. And so these are from Mr. Muffins. Can't wait to open them up. They're my early from me to me birthday / Christmas present. And yes, I was born in December, so for those who were also born in December probably can relate what I'm about to say. Basically, being born in December, my birthday presents were always wrapped in Christmas paper, never in birthday paper. So that's what happened to me for years and years, and so I just got pretty much used to it. But at any rate, as you guys are well aware, like I said by the title, these are GP9 locomotives. So here's a little quiz for you guys. I'm going to see how well you do. Do not use Google. Do you know the true difference between an EMD GP7 and an EMD GP9? Now I know they made a GP8, but we're not going to talk about that because the 7 and the 9 look a lot alike. So what would your answer be? If you had said, well, the GP7 has no dynamic braking and a GP9 does, so that's how you tell, sorry, you would be wrong. However, you would be correct about the GP7 not coming with dynamic braking. Dynamic braking was not available on the GP7. However, on the GP9, it was an option. You could get it without or with dynamic braking. So that is not a true way of telling the difference between a 7 and a 9 physically looking at it. So as a rail fan, what's the distinctive difference between the both of them? How would you be able to tell me what is a GP7 and what's a 9? It's not by the dynamic braking. Oh, come on, guys. If I was asking you what's the difference between a Pennsylvania M1A and an M1B, you guys would be all over that. Oh yeah, the heat exchanger, this, that, this. They moved that, the sand tower, the sand dome, this, that. You'll be all over that. I'm trying to get you guys into diesels. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer that I'm looking for anyway. So the answer that I'm looking for, the difference between a GP7 and a GP9 is that the GP7 had 3 louvers on the side of the car body underneath the engineer's window on the battery box. The GP9 only had 1 louver or no louvers. So that would be a quick way of telling the difference between a 9 and a 7 if the 9 did not have dynamic brakes. I'm seeing some reviews and posts on these Lionel Legacy GP9s already. And I'm seeing some posts using the word slug to describe the B unit. So there's a difference between a B unit and a slug. It's not one and the same. It's either a B unit or a slug. So what's the difference? Again, don't use Google. Do you know the difference between a B unit and a slug? And I'm sure, again, if it was a STEAM question, you guys would be all over that, but since it's not, I know I should be using the ribbon, right? Alright, so if you don't know, that's fine. I like teaching you guys. Again, if you use Google, you cheated. But at any rate, the difference between, wow, this is so cool. The difference between a B unit and a slug. So this is a B unit. The B unit, wow, they really packed that in there. There we go. Oh, it's all one piece. Okay. The B unit has a prime mover, and there's no cab. It also has, you know, your regular traction motors. So a slug, by railroad terms, does not have an engine in it, does not have a diesel engine in it, or what the railroads call a prime mover. It just has traction motors, and that's it. Now, some slugs have a cab and some do. There's many variations of slugs out there. So, what is the purpose of a slug if it doesn't have an engine in it? Good question. Slugs are typically used for extra traction at low end speeds, like in yards and stuff like that. So what happens is the slug needs what's called a mother locomotive, because a slug cannot power itself since it doesn't have a diesel locomotive. And these are real railroad terms I'm giving you. So yes, it needs a mother locomotive. That's what they call it. The mother, it gets plugged into the mother locomotive, and then it uses the traction motors on the mother locomotive as well as on the slug. So instead of having you know, just the traction motors on itself, it also has another set of traction motors. So the Lionel B unit is a super base. I already have one super base, so I pretty much know what to expect. So I'm glad to get the super base. But at any rate, we're going to go ahead and I'll open up the other one. We'll get these out on the track and get them programmed. Talk about the history behind them and see these bad boys run. I can't wait. Now, I've been wanting Lionel to make these GP9 locomotives in the legacy locomotive line for the longest time. So here we have the GP9 locomotives here in front of us. You have GP9 number 7020 and then number 3812B unit. These locomotives are both ex-Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives. So Conrail number 7020 was the first batch delivered to the Pennsylvania Railroad, and they bought batches of 50 at a time. It was delivered in 1955 to the Pennsylvania Railroad as number 7020. Number 7020 was also originally equipped with a train phone. That was removed during the Penn Central years. And of course, between the merger of the Pennsylvania and New York Central to create Penn Central, well, that's when a lot of changes were made. Unfortunately, number 7020 did not last long in its Conrail career. It ended up on the Collingswood deadline along with many other GP9s. And that's because Penn Central didn't take care of anything. They didn't maintain anything. So by the time Conrail was able to take over, a lot of these locomotives were just too far gone and needed way too much money to bring them back into operations, which is a shame. But there is a Pennsylvania GP9 over at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, right across the street from the Strasburg Railroad. Did Lionel get this right as far as the color is spot on blue. I mean, they did a good job with the Conrail blue. The color is great. The graphics are great. EMD GP9 was a general purpose road switcher. It could be used for multiple things. It could be used for freight. It could be used for passenger service. It could be used for a switching locomotive. It was a great lightweight locomotive to take over bridges that didn't have a big capacity for heavier locomotives. These things were very versatile. Not only that, but from a mechanic standpoint, these things were bulletproof. There's still railroads today using them. The EMD GP9 is a 4-axle diesel locomotive built by General Motors between 1954 and 1959. The GP9 succeeded the GP7 as the second model of EMD's general purpose line, incorporating a new 16-cylinder engine which generated 1,750 horsepower. There were 3,626 GP9s, including 165 GP9B locomotives, and an additional 645 GP9s were built by GM for the Canadian subsidiary, for a total of 4,257 GP9 locomotives produced when Canadian production ended in 1963. The GP9 was succeeded by the similar but slightly more powerful GP18. So the Conrail B unit that you're seeing here was formerly a Penn Central number 3812, but when the Pennsylvania Railroad had it, it was actually numbered 7187B. So again, unfortunately, neither one of these units lasted that long under Conrail. Let's go ahead and we'll check out the sounds on number 7020 here. Why not? We'll do an extended startup.
This is the dispatcher. Start up and hold. Over. Okay, let's get to work. Out.
Alright, so I wanted to shut it down for a minute. As you guys heard, there's 5 horns, there's also 5 bells you can choose from. Yeah, the original horn that it was originally set for is not the correct horn. I guess the one I picked out is close enough. But, yeah, that's fine. Both of these have Bluetooth, in case you're wondering. You can run them off of Bluetooth. Now, I don't have a bass 3. So I don't know how this feature will work, but the way I did the extended startup, with the exception of the bass 3, because I'm not sure with that, the only way you can do the extended startup the way I just did it is with the Lionel 990 remote. So if you have a cab 1 or a cab 1L, there is no way of doing the extended startup. So let's go ahead and start up 3812. That's the super bass that does not have motors in it, but it has everything else that a Lionel Legacy would have, with the sounds and the lights. It just would not have motors. So let's start that up. probably going to sound the same. We'll do an extended startup on that too.
Dispatcher here. Starter up. Stand by for track orders. Over.
Yes, sir. We'll fire her up. Out.
Yeah, that works. I wonder what the bell sounds
Dispatcher, going to sign the register book. Out.
Now, I wasn't going to play all the cab chatter and that because we already listened to it in the GP9, and there wouldn't be cab chatter and a B unit anyway. But I just did it for kicks and giggles. So let's go ahead and put this into a train.
You're cleared outbound. Dispatcher out.
Well, once again, I hope you learned something. I hope you learned a little history about the locomotive and how to tell the difference between the GP7 and a 9. And catch you guys at the next train show. Catch you trackside. Goodbye.